Well, the virus has now killed more than 100 people in China, and new cases have been confirmed around the world.
So you don't want to frighten the American public.
France and South Korea have also got evacuation plans.
But you need to prepare for and assume
strongly warning Americans to avoid all non-essential travel to China.
That this is going to be a real serious problem.
France, Australia, Canada, the US, Singapore, Cambodia, Vietnam, the list goes on.
Health officials are investigating more than 100 possible cases in the US.
Germany, a man has contracted the virus.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
Japan, where a bus driver contracted the virus.
Coronavirus has killed more than 100 people there and infected more than 4,500.
We have to prepare for the worst, always, because if you don't and the worst happens.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
This is Jack Maxey. Welcome to the War Room. It is Saturday, July 25th, year of our Lord 2020, with another special episode on the people of China. This is part of our series on Saturday, where we devote 2 hours to discussing what's going on inside. Today's episode 299, titled "The Plague, the Flood, the People. The CCP confronts its doom," with our special guest Miles Guo and Stephen K. Bannon. Back to you, Steve.
Hey, Jack, we're going to have you play some clips. I want to start. We've got a number of things we're going to go through today. Number one, we're going to talk about the Secretary of State's tremendous speech at the Nixon Library on Thursday. We're also going to talk specifically about the flood on the Yangtze River Valley and also this plague, this horrible plague that's affecting the world. And it only seems to be getting worse here in the United States. And at the end, I want to ask Miles some specific questions about the new federal state of China. We see the blue flag of the new federal state out protesting throughout the United States, these consulates of the Chinese Communist Party. First, Miles, I want to talk. We have an individual we work a lot with, one of the best journalists out there, Bill Gertz. Bill Gertz said yesterday, Bill Gertz was, I think, the only journalist that traveled out there with the Secretary of State, with Pompeo. He was at the Nixon Library, this very historic, place that honors President Nixon, his birthplace. President Nixon, known not just for the only president that's quit because of impeachment, but really known in American history for opening up China. And what Bill Gertz said is that Secretary of State Pompeo said in so many words that we're driving for regime change, and that regime is the Chinese Communist Party. And this is really, he called out to the Chinese people to rise up and to have regime change. Was that your assessment? Is Bill Gertz being too harsh about that, or you think that's where Pompeo was going in his speech?
Thank you, sir. I hijack everybody. Sir, yesterday also I with you together, I watch and Pompeo, Senator's speech. I really shocked. I think this new America, new area is coming. Give my feel, I feel it's different than you Americans. I'm Chinese. I'm from China. I'm the With Blue, movement.
The whistleblower movement.
The founder.
Yeah.
Also, we are with you together. We built a new federal state. Also, I am the CCP #1 enemy. So I watch, I listen. It's the Pompeo speech, give me more, it's the power and the confidence. We can take down the CCP. We can change the CCP, the regime. But, sir, about, I'm Chinese. I listen, I watch, give me different feeling, different year. And the Bill Gertz, I'm really proud of is we are Rule of the Law Foundation, the board of members, big help Chinese in the officially, and give more the truth, put it to inside the China mainland. Also, Bill Gertz service get a lot of China army people more admire him. So we know him 30 years. Him is always talk about the CCP is dangerous. The CCP, the regime, is very dangerous for the world. So I hearing only himself in the Pompeo aircraft talk to Pompeo as the senator. That's a very important time. But I have a different part of view. One, I think this is the world policy. We before do same job is the do Union, Soviet, right?
Right.
Take down the Union.
That's
Soviet
what
Union.
we did. We had a containment strategy that took down Russia, the Soviet Union.
Soviet Union, right? You take it down. But this time, I think CCP totally different Soviet Union. Soviet Union, how many population before? How big a GDP? Right? 10 billion GDP.
It was nothing. It was the size. The economy is the size of New York State.
Yeah. Now CCP control $14 trillion. Before Soviet Union, totally no. I think it's 100 million people population. China is 1.4 billion people get the CCP kidnapped. And before Soviet Union, in the America, not a big part, spy system, allies work to Soviet Union.
You're saying a spy system and alliances and infiltration into the United States that the Soviet Union never had.
Totally different, sir. You look at Soviet Union before you can win because in America, not very smaller is the Soviet Union the power. Now CCP the power in the U side more the CCP in China side. And do you believe, sir? Before which country can come to America kill American people? Only one, Japan, right? This is
during Pearl Harbor.
The Pearl Harbor.
Yep.
You take down this country region.
A sneak attack.
Yeah, and 9/11 coming here, only the 2 times.
Radical Islam. Yes.
They all disappear. But CCP in the America kill America nearly 30 years. Fentanyl every day kill America.
And you're saying that you tied fentanyl directly back to the CCP.
Yeah, all the Americans keep quiet. And now CCP virus, coronavirus, kill America every week. So 9/11.
You're saying every couple of days we have the same death toll as 9/11.
Yes. 2 weeks, 3 weeks is the half purple Japanese attack you.
Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor, right? That's the same. Soviet Union, how many times in American kill American?
Not many.
How many Soviet Union power in American before?
Not very powerful.
So that's my worry. I know CCP. Okay, I know CCP. Okay, don't get underestimate. Don't underestimate.
You're saying don't underestimate the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah, that's totally different. That's MC.
You're saying it's different as far as scale and infiltration already.
Yeah, totally different. Also, dangerous, challenger, totally different. This is one. Secondly, sir, we must be now. How? Change the regime. How? When? Who? I'm a businessman, always. I have any tiger, they give me problem, I say, when? How? Who do this? American now. This, you look at the last 6 months, American, how many people die by CCP coronavirus? All the 6 months. Everything is speech, media. Everything is paperwork. No action. Coronavirus, if 6 months ago you have directly, cleanly, how, who, when, find out that's the truth. Where from? The farm is the P4 lamp, and the farm the natural and the animals. That's American can do. You find out the truth, everything can solve. Don't need the 6 months. Look down America, look down the world. Million people get infected. This is the speech, and the paperwork. Same as before Soviet Union. You can use strategy, economy, take down the Soviet Union. You want the same solution, take down CCP. I guarantee you, you not take down CCP, as CCP take down you before you any action. That's my second point.
Okay, but let me just make sure we understand that. You're saying the same containment strategy that worked against the Soviets, given that they weren't that big, they weren't really that powerful outside of nuclear weapons and maybe some military equipment. And they weren't that deeply infiltrated into every aspect of business life, cultural life, political life, like the CCP is, that you can't use the exact same, the same strategy and tactics will not work.
Yes. Another part, sir, you look, I'm really proud of, Pompeo's speech. This is so important. It's a God bless Chinese, God bless American, God bless, this is the American countries. That's so touched me, so emotional. Last 6 months, I'm really negative about everything. Listen is the Pompeo the third is a speech. It's very emotional. I really appreciate it. I think the world is going to change. But, sir, we not must be realistic thinking. This realistic, how can do? I listen, I talk everything about inside. I from inside, intelligence tell me, how do you think Pompeo speech? I say, oh, that's a change. Cannot Sino-U.S. relationship, impossible go back before. But, everything, but, CCP don't care. Seriously. You think CCP scared you? No. You think CCP think you can take down the region? No. You think CCP fear you? No. You know why? CCP, all the power, all the take down you, the power capability, not in China, in the U America, in the U allies, in the your parties. CCP knows. Soviet Union, you use what solution, take down them. Now they change strategy, go to you inside, put poison, make the allies, corruption, BGY in the U country. They think you cannot take down this.
Let me just make sure I understand. Not do they only have put a virus over here that's a pandemic. You say they have another virus here of corruption, influence peddling, all that, not just the United States, but our allies. So when we talk about this alliance of democracy or alliance of liberty, that's already been affected, that the battle they're going to have is actually here in the United States and in London and in Tokyo, etc. That's just not going to be as easy of us trying to say, oh, we can take down Beijing.
Yes, 100%. Also, yesterday is the location. It's Nixon president, the old hometown, and the library. Also, it's the Sino-U.S. lasts 50 years. It's a basement Kissingerism. Now
Kissingerism.
Kissingerism. I meet Kissinger many times in Beijing. Many times. Kissinger almost Chinese now #1 in person American person politician with Sino-U.S. last 50 years. CCP always put the hand. We are mutual benefit. Win-win. We are it must be new strategy to big country on the world by its Kissingerism. Yesterday show the world, show the CCP. We are Americans stop this Kissingerism. We are Sino-U.S. relationship totally change. We want a new relationship. We want to take down the regime. That's so clean, beautiful, very genius. The location, designer, strategy, speech, wonderful. That's the moment. But, sir, why is it today, yesterday? Why no last year? Why don't have the 2 years ago? Do you think Trump president talked 4 years? Sino-U.S. trade deal. Sino-U.S. trade deal. Talk 4 years. 3 years ago, I talked to directly broadcast. I say, America with the CCP, no trade deal. I guarantee it must be ridiculous, the resource. You know why? CCP always use pandemic effect inside the politician, weak America. Clear you are
Stephen
inside
Miles.
the game.
Yeah. Why don't we go to break, Jack? Take us a break and we'll come back.
Okay, guys, we're going to have to go pay some bills here, but we have a fantastic show here. We're really going to dig into some of the insight. We're going to come back. We're going to be talking about the Yangtze River flood. We're going to be talking about Secretary Pompeo's speech. All these things are tied together. And as we've always said, the pandemic is going to change your life, and defeating the CCP is what we need to do to save this world. Back in just a minute.
War Room with Stephen K. Bannon. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
The challenge of China demands exertion, energy from democracies, those in Europe, those in Africa, those in South America, and especially those in the Indo-Pacific region. And if we don't act now, ultimately, the CCP will erode our freedoms and subvert the rules-based order that our societies have worked so hard to build. If we bend the knee now, our children's children may be at the mercy of the Chinese Communist Party, whose actions are the primary challenge today in the free world. General Secretary Xi is not destined to tyrannize inside and outside of China forever unless we allow it. Now, this isn't about containment. Don't buy that. It's about a complex new challenge that we've never faced before. The USSR was closed off from the free world. Communist China is already within our borders.
That was Secretary Pompeo speaking yesterday in a historic speech at the Nixon Library, laying down the law for future relations with the CCP. And we want to make it clear this is a conflict with the CCP and not the Chinese people. Steve, back to you.
Yeah, Jack, I'm really proud of, since we've been doing War Room Pandemic back in January, this has been one of the central theses of the show. And I mean, we've talked about it all the time, so it sounded like Secretary of State Pompeo was a guest on the show. It just really sounded, the topics we had talked about, the themes we had talked about, etc. I want to go to Miles. We've got so much I want to break down on the Pompeo speech. But one thing I want to get back to you. You're saying it's about action. What Pompeo is saying there is that you have this alliance of democracies on the outside, right? But we can't use the old containment strategy we used against Russia, because China is a very different entity. It's much bigger, it's much more sophisticated, and they're already integrated into American economy, etc. When he said a series of actions, what types of actions are you talking about? Because he made the point that regime change has to come from the Chinese people. So what types of actions are you thinking about that the rest of the world can empower the Chinese people? I mean, what do we have to do? Only the Chinese people can get their freedom. What do we have to do for the rest of the world to support that?
So it's really important. Yesterday also, I really shocked as the Pompeo speech. That's very important. This moment, inside the Chinese, I think also the 92 million Communist Party members, is almost more than 90% people, they don't like the CCP. They notice
You mean the bulk of the 1.4 billion people in China, you're saying don't really support or like the CCP?
Yes. I'm from China. I'm 30 years prepared. I take down CCP, so I must know this is the data, truth and no truth. So, not side, I think Pompeo is the talk about this, very important. I still think, how, when, who? You ask the question. All the CCP member is they think, I'm here 50 years, every day. Hope America can take down the regime, give China really rule of the law, give the free religion. But you look, America changed the president, changed the party, then everything's changed. Then another president coming, very aggressive to CCP. Then under the year, under the decision, you very friendly with the CCP. Year by year, 70 years, never changed. Now, I think very important. American need exactly talk to Chinese and the CCP member. Do you like the CCP? Do you like the regime? Do you want America as your enemy? If you don't want, I give you suggestion. One, we are decouple.
You're saying decouple.
Decouple, number one, next week. That's a win. Decouple.
Hold on, I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Decouple the economy of China and the United States next week.
Yeah. Second, no CCP. Every relationship with American and the West American allies of the country. If you have any relation happen to CCP, you get a sanction.
You're saying relation. You're talking about business. If the business is in business with the CCP, if CCP's decoupled totally, not just the when you say the economy, not theoretically. If you're a company out, no CCP contact, no relationship.
Yeah, 3. Talk to CCP member. Who killed the crazy guy, the top 5 guy? Who sent the guy go to jail? American must be protect you. West world, all the country protect you because you take down the regime, you as a world hero. Then we are protect your family and you protect your family. And must be, I guarantee you safer in the world. The safety, that's very important. You need to know how, when American give what. Then American see who killed the 5 strange guy, who gave America the coronavirus from where the truth. You get protection. You get its benefit long-term with protection. And we are maybe next to China, the organization go to rule of the law, vote. You as a product go to vote. Americans support you. That's new China organization, freedom, rule of the law, the organization, the power. That's very important. You say, I want to take down you. I want CCP, all people ask me, even I do something, who protects me?
Okay, I'll get to the protection in a second, but let me play a counter argument. And Jack, count me down on the time. When people talk about decoupling, and let's just be very specific about Hong Kong, not even all of mainland China, but let's just go to Hong Kong. When the super hawks or the ultra hawks like myself and others have proposed complete decoupling of the economy, stopping any special relationship, sanctioning the 5 top financial institutions, and going to not to carry land, but to sanctioning Wanxi, Shan, and Xi, etc. People have said, oh, the first argument they make, if you decouple, the people that are hurt the worst are Lao Beijing, the little guy. In Hong Kong, we'd be hurting the students, we'd be hurting all the middle class in Hong Kong the most if we did that. So their argument is that you can't decouple, you have to go slower, you actually have to accommodate the Chinese Communist Party. Do you believe that? Do you believe in both Hong Kong and mainland China? People are saying, hey, if America decouples, right, if we break off any relationship with the dollar, if we break off the financial things, the people that get hurt the most is not the regime. The people get hurt most is Lao Beijing. It's the common person. Do you buy that argument? Because you're adamant that you can't stop it until you actually do a hard decoupling.
Yes, I think this is true. Chinese have a philosophy. Under the reward, there must be a brave husband.
Under the reward, there must be a brave husband.
For the CCP now, Wang Qishan, Xi Jinping last 8 years sent 1 million members go to jail called anti-corruption movement. But I think 90% of people don't go to the jail. And 1 million can remember how many my family get risk. That's your big power. That's why I say American need now, what is your strategy? Use the CCP, take down the CCP. You need to show insight, decouple now. I seriously take down the CCP, change the regime. American don't give any dollar. Inside America, Wall Street, the media, serious media, the media don't propaganda help the CCP, give the world 100%, your decision. We seriously want to change the regime. So that's very important.
I just want to make sure that, so you're saying that the short-term pain that old 100 names and the common Chinese subject would have to entail, and in Hong Kong, is worth the freedom that they would get, and that you do not have any chance of taking down the CCP until you get serious about decoupling, both from financial, corporate, and a technology point of view.
But you don't decouple. Impossible. CCP, no money, no members. No money, no weapons. Sir, yesterday I talked to you. That's very ridiculous. You look at American side. Huge empire country power, #1 force in the world. But I'm as the Chinese. I watch American talk everything. I think, oh, you genius is huge. But listen, American talk about the CCP. Oh my God, so weird.
Very naive.
Very naive. Yeah, very, very naive. You know why? You never know CCP. They are sneak attack everybody, Chinese, 老百姓, and America, everywhere. You see, last 50 years, 70 years, they always solutions use sneak attack.
Like a snake in an attack.
Yeah, they no rule of the law, no butterfly. Americans, even you, sir. All the Americans say, Stephen Bannon's a crazy guy. I say, I don't care Stephen K. Bannon crazy, no crazy. I don't know Stephen Bannon is a good guy, no good guy. I don't care. I'm not married for Stephen K. Bannon. I just know this is the West of the world. One guy is really now CCP is evil. I only can help Chinese take down the CCP. I just work the part. I never talk to you inside the political. But I love
1
you
minute.
Crazy, but never say you say wrong. You say the all correct. Stephen K. Bannon talk about the CCP, the evil, the dangerous, always correct. That's why I'm here with you together. But I don't never say many American people say me you. That's the problem.
Hang on for 1 second. We've got to take another commercial. Jack, back to you. We'll continue with Miles Guo after this commercial break.
Hey, I have a little bit of breaking that I want to read out on the thing. Not necessarily break. It was a few hours ago, but Hugh Jin, who is the editor-in-chief of the Global Times, put out a tweet that says, Pompeo seems very ambitious and wants to create an epic confrontation between great powers to put himself in the history books. Unfortunately for him, he misunderstands the current world. Endless resistance will destroy him, making him look even worse than Bannon in the end. I don't think so, people. This is a moral battle for the freedom of planet Earth, and we are not backing down. We're so glad to have you with us. The Chinese people are happy to have you with us.
War Room with Stephen K. Bannon. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Welcome back to the War Room. This is Jack Maxey here on Capitol Hill with one of our Saturday specials on China. Today's episode called The Plague, the Flood, the People. The CCP confronts its doom with special guest Miles Guo. Back to you, Stephen K. Bannon.
Jack, we're going to get into the plague and the flood of it, but I still want to stay. Pompeo's speech was so historic, and I just want to go back to what you just read before the break, and I want to read this. This shows you, for our audience, and we want everybody to get on hashtag War and Pandemic or in the live feed and let us know what your thoughts are, your observations. You're the critical part of this show. The reason this show has had such a huge impact throughout the world is because people want to know what the deplorables are thinking, how they're going to vote, what is of concern to them. And knowing that the deplorables are very engaged in now this confrontation with the Chinese Communist Party has put fear into the Chinese Communist Party. I just want to go back what Jack read beforehand. This is by, I believe, Jack, the publisher and editor-in-chief of the Global Times, which is the propaganda source, the tabloid that's the propaganda. And he's really a voice of the CCP and many things they want to get out there. He said of Pompeo's speech, Pompeo seems very ambitious and wants to create an epic confrontation between great powers to put himself in the history books. Unfortunately for him, he misunderstands the current world. Endless resistance will destroy him. I want to repeat that. Endless resistance will destroy him, making him look even worse than Bannon in the end. Miles, when they have the Global Times, who really reaches a lot of the working class and middle class Chinese and throughout the world in English language. It's read by Washington, D.C. and London. When they put a response like that out there to Pompeo's speech and really our show and our support of the whistleblower movement, New Federal State, Rule of Law Society Foundation, Center for Security Policy on their Committee on the Present Danger for China, all that support. Is this a signal of strength? What are they trying to show? Because they're really threatening Pompeo and saying, hey, you're going to be in the dustbin of history like the crazy man Steve Bannon.
Sir, after is the Pompeo speech, I have a lot of phone call and the inside of also CCP, the high level, the people, my old friend, We talk a lot about the year today, Pompeo speech. All the people say, personally, Pompeo is the last maybe 20, 30 years world leader, no doubt, because year today. Also, they see Pompeo get a point to the right direction, gave the word.
He's pointed in the right direction.
Yeah. The second. 3, very important. You know, CCP is the very admire Pompeo, admire crazy Stephen K. Bannon, because they know you as a deep thinker. You before Navy, him is CIA. You all the life the work of this loyalty America. You as a professional army from the West Point, the loyalty, you loyal the country. You are a genius professionally politician. Also, they know you are no Asia. You know CCP. You know politician. You know the world picture. That's totally different. So they are inside admire you. That's why in the CCTV the last 4 years they are attack you because they fear you, they jealous you. CCP don't talk to you, don't attack you. This is the wall. You not important because Pompeo, Steve Kim Bannon, Peter Navarro, Tom Cotton, and you know this is all the people get attacked because they are think you are important. You are maybe can make American bigger, stronger. That's why. So year today, last everybody the general, you know, before is the PLA, is the very very important guy. Him tell me, Miles, yes today the world to change.
The world changed.
Yes today is make the world leader is Pompeo. Yes today, Pompeo wake up all the Chinese member, CCP member. I said what? I say CCP think that guy Pompeo talk is not bullshit. It's true. Not Hu Jijin is a dog. Pompeo is the genius next to the central, all the global leaders. That's seriously. Also, him have the capability do him want. Him tell me, you look at Pompeo in the West Point, number 1 in the West Point.
Yes, number 1 in his class.
Never defect, right?
No demerits.
No demerits.
Right.
So him, this gave the CCP member. This guy is seriously. So year today, I think the world should change as the new world leaders are coming and wake up the CCP members. You want to die? You want to cooperate with Pompeo and America? That's totally different. Year today, I think, sir, that's America really come great again. Years from years today.
Let me take another tack on this. Also, in the last 24 hours, 48 hours since Secretary Pompeo spoke, you just didn't hear the Global Times and the propaganda arm of the Chinese Communist Party. The Jeff Bezos Amazon Washington Post editorial was highly critical. The editorial, not just page, but the actual editorial from the paper, where it's highly critical of Pompeo. They said this is the type of nonsense is going to get us into another war. This is just beat the drum that Trump's policy is incoherent, that Pompeo's speech was incoherent. You had a guy named Max Boot, who's a neocon in the United States, one of the guys that was a big pusher of the war in Iraq. He's saying that complete disarray, that the Trump administration has no policy, and that Pompeo's talking like this is very volatile and could get us into a lot of trouble, although the Chinese have done some bad things. You know, most importantly, Richard Haas, the head of the Council on Foreign Relations, he said, you know, I'm getting tired. This is not good when Pompeo keeps saying CCP in Chinese Communist Party. And his quote is almost that, like you can't separate the Chinese Communist Party from China or the Chinese people. The CCP is China. So the mentality of what you have here, we call them the useful idiots, but they're so deeply embedded. We're talking about the Washington Post, opinion writers for the Post and the New York Times, the head of the Council on Foreign Relations. Across the board, you've seen corporations put hundreds of millions of dollars into the Black Lives Matter thing, but will not take on the CCP at all. I'm talking about the NBA and others that will not take them on. So this is cultural situation in corporations and our elites that you can't say anything bad about the CCP, and that people like Mike Pompeo, they actually agree with the Global Times that Mike Pompeo is dangerous, that Mike Pompeo is getting us into a war, that Mike Pompeo is far too critical of our win-win partner, strategic partner, China. What would you say to that?
Thank you, sir. You say the very important. I think this is why yesterday everybody in the world leader, also CCP, the general and the high-level leaders think it's the Pompeo is the world leader from yesterday. You look at him, it's very clean talk strategy. Chinese, different CCP, different, China. God bless Chinese, American. That's just world leader. You this is not a personal, fact. Some people are so stupid. It's a disaster. They don't know the history. They're not deeper thinking. They are just a liar. It's driven by perfect. CCP from where? CCP from the Soviet Union.
Soviet Union.
Soviet Union. Chinese never walked one time. Do you think? 5,000 years history, Chinese no one time get for the world. Also never walked to CCP come China. Also CCP in China, still there is called Communist Party.
This is one thing I want to make sure that everybody gets, and Miles's English has gotten fantastic. But he brings up a point that the geniuses of the Council of Foreign Relations, the Washington Post, nobody ever brings up. Chinese Communist Party has never gotten one vote of the Chinese people. The Chinese Communist Party came to power with the barrel of a gun at the end of World War II, right? After really not fighting the Japanese, allowing the Kuomintang to really take all the casualties, but really sometimes assisting the Japanese, they immediately go into a civil war of which they did win. But Mao said all power comes from the barrel of a gun. That's why Miles has been on here before saying, hey, controlling the PLA is central to their power. They would never be democratically elected. And that's one of the things I think that the folks are lined against them, including Mike Pompeo. We keep saying, where's the land reform? Where's rule of law? Where's democracy? If you go back and read Edgar Snow's book, Red Star Rising, if you read all of the literature in the West at that time, all of the apologists for the Chinese Communist Party were saying, oh, China's never had land reform in 4,000 years. Mao's going to bring land reform. The peasants are going to own the land. You're going to have rule of law. Mao talked about a constitution. I mean, later he mocked constitutions as ridiculous pieces of paper from the West, but he talked about a constitution. They talked about rule of law. They talked about the little guy having a voice. That's all been a lie. And we know it's a lie because of the decades and decades and decades of how they've ravaged China, how they've stolen from the Chinese people, how they've taken that money and laundered it into the West. It's all a complete scam. But just help me out here, Miles, in the few minutes we got left in this section. Why is it so many intellectuals in the West, people that should know better, why do they continue to mouth the CCP's party line? Why are they always repeating what the CCP says? And when Pompeo, myself, and other people come up, oh, you're a racist, you're a nativist, you're a xenophobe, CCP's good.
Sir, very easy. Some of the guys is driven by perfect because CCP gives them a perfect. Another side, you look, I'm in Americans 5 years. I ask a lot of Americans. I never see one person really don't believe CCP the long march. What is the long march? In the Beijing, walk to New York, then go back 1 year. Then all the Americans believe. Secondly, 72 years old is the Chairman Mao Zedong in the Greenwich, swimming to Manhattan. This go back 2 hours. All the Americans believe this. Also, all the Americans in the D.C., high-level the politician and the senator, all the politicians say all the Chinese is the CCP. That's too ridiculous. They never deep thinker and it's reading about China, what is real happen. CCP is officially another country go into China, remote China's spirit. Cheater China is the power, kidnap 1.4 billion Chinese. That's why yesterday the Pompeo speech is fantastic. This is world leader. You see, CCP from another country, this region. Chinese never walked to them. CCP say build Hong Kong, 50 years contract, one country, two systems, they never deliver. They want to give China is the American style democracy 100 years ago, they never deliver. This is why this is a criminal group, this is normal Chinese. Chinese never, it's the water for this is the regime. Also, China, why have the firewall? because they don't want you and the Chinese, no, American, we are each the truth. That's why Pompeo said that's a criminal guy. We need to take down the region. That's Pompeo, super genius.
We have about 40 seconds, guys.
Is a world leader.
Yeah, Jack, take us out. We'll do a commercial break, and then we'll come back and continue our discussion on the flood and the plague.
Okay, guys, listen, we've got to pay for some commercials, but we want you to come back. Miles is giving us an in-depth discussion about the motivations of the CCP and why Pompeo's speech was such a throwdown. And we've also seen that Pompeo runs the risk of becoming just like Steve Bannon. Well, what a great benefit for the entire world, people. We'll be right back. Thanks so much for being with us.
War Room with Stephen K. Bannon. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Communicated to the president that his opponent is not Joe Biden, it is the coronavirus. And in the past couple of days, he finally realized that the coronavirus is beating him and beating him badly. And there is nothing that he could do except for change course tactically, rhetorically. And I think that's the important thing to keep in mind here. And it all falls under the umbrella of the fact that his opponent is the coronavirus is winning, and that is largely because he completely, mostly ignored it.
Steve, back to you, my friend.
Yeah, Jack, I mean, look, this gets down to the heart of it. It's the reason we do this show. I was notified of a SARS-like virus by one Jack Maxey during War Room impeachment. The day after Christmas, called Boxing Day, we had already pre-recorded specials on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, the day after. Jack had the day off and texted me, he says, hey, on a blog site, because Jack's an old China hand, he says, I think there may be a SARS-like outbreak somewhere in central China. A couple of days later, Miles Guo and the team at GTV, all the associates he has taking that content up from China, Miles was broadcasting on, I think, the 30th or 31st of December, before the end of the year, talking about there was an outbreak of a epidemic of some SARS-like virus in Wuhan in central China. Miles and I met. We do every year for 2 or 3 days. We do our ongoing broadcasts and be 8, 10, 12 hours a day around Lunar New Year. And Miles and I were up, and we were having the joint board meetings of the Rule of Law Foundation, the Rule of Law Society, talking about the plans for the year ahead, things we're going to do in Hong Kong. And Miles at that time said, hey, there's not going to be a Lunar New Year. They're actually going to cancel Lunar New Year. And this is when the trade delegation had just left and gone back from Washington from signing the trade deal. And I said, Miles, the Lunar New Year is 500 million people in China go home every year. You just can't cancel. He says, hey, it's all going to be canceled. There's a pandemic, and it's going to rage out of control. Remember, Jack, you and I talked even then. The World Health Organization had tweeted out just a couple of days before, there's no human-to-human transmission. There's no community spread. The Chinese Communist Party told us that. A few days later, Jack, we actually started this show, and what we said from day one that, hey, we're not epidemiologists, we're not virologists, but what I do know is the Chinese Communist Party. I know that the Chinese Communist Party is predicated on control of the Chinese people and having an economy that they try to make work. If they shut that down or lose their legitimacy, they're over. So in shutting down Hubei province and quarantining Wuhan around the 20th, 21st of January, I told people this is going to be the biggest thing in world history, because they would not do that and jeopardize themselves unless there was a massive problem. As we've gone on, I think Dana Bash is absolutely correct. I think now we're in July, heading into August, and the president actually is running against a virus. We've been saying this on the show for a long time. Whether you're a denier or whether you believe it 100%, the virus is real and it's had a big impact on American life. Over 140,000 people have died. It's had a massive impact on our economy. The solutions have had an impact on our economy. And I think President Trump now has come to the realization that he's got to come to grips with that. That's where they have in the daily briefings. I've said, and I've said this, been adamant about this, that the time for action is here, and the core of the action has got to be back in Beijing. The President of the United States has got to demand that we get answers to this. We're not going to get answers. We're not going to get real therapeutics. We're not going to get real vaccines. We're not going to get real solutions until we know what the core of this is, until we know how this all started, whether it came out of a biological weapons program or whether it came out of gain-of-function experiments in the Wuhan lab that got out of control, whether it inadvertently leaked or was sent out. What we do know is the Chinese Communist Party has been terrible about the decisions they made and hid it from everybody. So first, Miles, I'd like to ask you just a question that so many Americans and so many people watch this show all the time. When this thing exploded all over China, why initially did nothing happen in Beijing? Why there has appeared that none of the senior cadre of the Chinese Communist Party have gotten this disease, or none of the cadres around them? Why did it look like he was either kept in Wuhan or Hubei province, Wuhan, and other areas of the country where it spread, where they suppressed it, but that senior cadre members in Beijing, why did no one get it in Beijing at the senior cadre level?
Sir, that's very important. You look at the CNN speech. I don't know why all the Americans think this is the genius thing. That is not a new idea. 1 year ago, 2 years ago, I with you together broadcast. I see 2020 election, not the Trump president with any nominee. It's with the Xi Jinping, Wang Jishan, right? 2 years ago, we talked.
You're saying he was going to run against them.
Yeah.
That they were going to make sure they defeated him.
Yeah. You know, so you can watch my last 3 years, 2,600 broadcast. You can find out many times I talk. Then it have the CCP virus is coming to America. I say now Trump president is around to CCP virus, not only virus. I totally disagree with CNN. Not the virus in the here. It's the round for the CCP and the CCP virus. This is the 100%.
You don't call it the coronavirus.
No.
You call it why do you call it the CCP virus?
Chairman Mao and the CCP always call war philosophy. Even I want to war for you, by the way, I war in the U home. That's why the war side in the U America.
You're saying if I have war, I don't have it in my territory. I have war in your territory.
Yeah. That's you look at the Chairman Mao and the CCP, all the philosophy. Okay, this is now I like it. Pompeo today is the speech. That's very important. Now American, that's a criminal grip. When you take down the regime, they are the evil. They use the low cost, create a coronavirus, make the this is the worst side in the U home, not in the CC home. This is why Wuhan it have the coronavirus. They want all the people shut up, and the media control. Send the whistleblower guy go to jail and kill him. Then no one high level the CCP officially people get infected. Then send to all the infected people Chinese go to Europe, not another country. First the UK.
Guys, we have to go for a break here in a moment.
Then go to New York, right?
Okay, we'll take another commercial break. Good. We'll come back.
Guys, we're going to come right back to the Miles' explanation of how the CCP covers up their tracks. We'll be right back with more from War Room Pandemic. The plague, the flood, the people. The CCP confront their doom.
Well, the virus has now killed more than 100 people in China, and new cases have been confirmed around the world.
So you don't want to frighten the American public.
France and South Korea have also got evacuation plans.
But you need to prepare for and assume
Strongly warning Americans to avoid all non-essential travel to China.
that this is going to be a real serious problem.
France, Australia, Canada, the US, Singapore, Cambodia, Vietnam, the list goes on.
Health officials are investigating more than 100 possible cases in the U.S.
Germany, a man has contracted the virus.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
Japan, where a bus driver contracted the virus.
Coronavirus has killed more than 100 people there and infected more than 4,500.
We have to prepare for the worst, always, because if you don't and the worst happens,
War Room, Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
This is Jack Maxey sitting in the catbird seat here at the embassy on Capitol Hill for another one of our Saturday episodes. Today's episode 300. The Plague, the Flood, the People. The CCP confronts its doom. We'd like to make a shout out to some of our broadcast partners: John Fredericks Radio Network, Newsmax at Night, America's Voice News, and Blown Through the Chinese Firewall by G News, translated into Mandarin every single day. Back to you, Steve.
You know, Jack, also on podcasts, I think we're getting close to 12 million. That's why we're so honored, want to do the 300th broadcast with Miles Guo and all our friends that listen to us in the real-time translation that GTV does in Mandarin. And we clearly know that state media is watching because their heads blown up right now, saying that Pompeo is going to go to the trash heap of history that Steve Bannon's already on. So we know we're getting to him every day. Jack, you brought up something very good. Your analysis and coverage on this show from the very beginning, not just about the pandemic, but you have such a bond with Lao Beijing and with the old 100 names, the Chinese people. You had mentioned that one of the key things back in the spring, or actually before the spring, still in the winter, that they had to get the people, the farmers had to get out to the fields to do the spring harvest. Now, the CCP just given us some statistics about how they turned out. Can you give Miles an update on what the CCP's saying? And I want Miles to respond.
This was from Xinhua News today. They said there is a bumper harvest in the offing. China's summer grain output reached a historic high of 142.8 million tons this year, up almost 1% from last year, according to the National Bureau of Statistics. The record-breaking harvest has paved the way for another bumper year. Now, myself, Miles, I don't believe this, but I'd like to have your expert opinion, especially considering they've been suffering droughts in the Northeast, which is the central location for most of their grain harvests, and now we have the flood on the Yangtze. But I'd love to have your expert opinion, Miles.
Thank you, Jack. I thank you. Follow this the point. You are worried Chinese is the angry disaster, hungry disaster. This the Xinhua News always 100% lie. Same the Long March. The 1 year they no food. They are Chairman Mao walk New York, go Beijing, go to New York, then walk back. This is the disaster lie, right? Same the food. China this year must be hungry disaster to happen. This is the area the followed area is the Zhejiang, Jiangxi, Chongqing, and Nanjing. This area more the 50-60% fruit all the China is from there. Also very important, if they have a disaster, if something happen, south side cannot go to north side because the water catch all the China gave China two parts. So very difficult, south side go to north, north go to south. This transaction is stopped. That's why it's the 1998, also 1958, China gave 40 million people die, got another time.
You mean for a famine, 40 million people died?
40 million died. My uncle, before the army, is work there. My uncle told me, case, how do you think, how many people died there? I think 40 million. My uncle said, no, double.
80 million?
80 million.
80 million starved to death during the Great Famine?
This is why Cultural Revolution, they see, even this time, 80 million people die, and 40 million people die. CCP, the Xinhua News talk what? This year, 大丰收, how to say? Great harvest.
Great harvest.
Every, the pork, have 10 baby. Hold on. 1 acre, they have 10 tons. This is the fruit. That's crazy. That's Xinhua News.
You're saying just lies.
100% lie. You go back, Jackie find out China another disaster time, Xinhua News. Same with the word, same with the member. That's a totally lie. That's where I need to take it on the CCP. That's why CCP is so stubborn the lie, but the American trust.
Jack,
that's the trouble.
Jack, I'm going to give you a second to pull up that Lancet thing where I asked Miles another question. Why is it we didn't really get much real information? I mean, right now, I think the total casualties out of all China are 3,000 or 3,500, or it's a very small number from the pandemic. Yet in the United States, it's 140,000. There's hundreds of thousands throughout the world. Why is the West, and if you look at CNN, they always put the number up from China. They never give an asterisk. They just assume every number, whether it's Bloomberg Terminal, whether it's the Wall Street Journal, whether it's the Financial Times, whatever the business agency in China, whatever number they put out, we just automatically accept. Why is it on the pandemic, particularly? Do you think the CCP was lying about the number of people infected in China and the number of deaths?
Yes, sir. Very easy. All this lie is fake. That's why everything, the fundamental reason can happen in China is get the CCP kidnap all the Chinese 1.4 billion people 70 years is by America. One, you give the dollar. One, you help CCP build a called firewall.
The technology.
You look at CNN.
We give them the cash and the technology.
Yeah, you look at the CNN, you look at America, everything, the data is from the CCP government. This is Ponzi schemes.
Ponzi scheme?
Ponzi schemes. But you look at American before, as a few years ago, Ponzi schemes in the Manhattan. I know the guy in the apartment.
You're saying the 2008 financial crash was all American Ponzi schemes.
Why? All the genius people, the rich people, they get cheat, right? Why? You are greedy. You are too naive because you're too greedy. That's why CCP give you every data you trust. CNN, any media. Oh my God.
And nobody questions it. They just take the data.
That's
and
why
it.
coronavirus in China, how many people died? Where from? And the economy, also the fruit. Nobody give you truth. That's the CCP, the evil. They now do same thing in the EU country. They try blank all the American eye. They they attack Pompeo, attack Steve Bannon, attack Peter Navarro, attack Tom Cotton, attack Rubio, and Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi, all the people. You know why? They fear you. They want to move your eye, go to direction there. They don't want you to focus the truth, the news. That's why they worry. Sir, that's a very good point. Why America no solution can find out any truth? You can. Only you can. Why American don't action? Easy take down the firewall. Because American help CCP build a firewall. Even you find out true data, true member, you are totally changed.
One of the most fascinating things I thought about the Nixon library speech is Hugh Hewitt. Hugh Hewitt's one of the top radio guys, conservative guys around. He's the president of the library. He helped set it up. He had Pompeo had a quote in there that I think he and Hugh Hewitt had talked about. Nixon had written an article in Foreign Affairs about a year, I think, before coming to power as president, talking about China and change. And then later on, many years after he left the presidency, he looked back over what he had helped do about opening up China, but about really, doing it with the Chinese Communist Party, with Mao Zedong and Zhou Enlai. And he said, I have a concern. Did we create a Frankenstein? Was this a Frankenstein monster? Because Nixon saw at the time it was American trade, it was American dollars, it was American technology. What Miles, when I first met him, Miles said, listen, what has been created in China is really a creation of the West and principally the United States. You've given them the money, you've given them and allowed them to steal the technology, and you've let them have access to the biggest market in the world. And what Miles would say, he goes, guys, back when you allowed them to come in the Clinton administration with Clinton and Bush, with World Trade Organization, most favored nation status as trade, all that, their economy was half the size or 1/3 the size of Japan's. Today is essentially equal or very close to being equal to the United States. That is all American money, all American jobs that did this. This was all financed by the West. Jack, do you have the Lancet piece, the editorial that's making excuses? One of the things that we found most fascinating, Miles, as we prepared for this show, virtually nobody in the West is challenging the CCP at all on any of the data. You know, they're on President Trump nonstop. Some people on the right are saying these numbers are phony. They're all blown out of proportion. There's not that many deaths. There's other people on the left that are saying Trump's undercounting. There's more people dying. This is a total undercount. They're on Trump nonstop from both the left and the right that the numbers are not right. Every day there's TV shows about it. They're arguing about it. They're getting his professionals up there. They're saying you don't know what you're doing. Trump's not handling this correctly. But the CCP's numbers are absurd just from any rational analysis. But it's never questioned. Jack, do you have the Lancet piece that you can quote from, or just give us a summary of what Lancet's been saying?
I do. Lancet came out with an editorial yesterday called COVID-19 and China, Lessons and the Way Forward. And what is really kind of frightening about this, Steve, is they just accept everything that China has said on face value and declare them essentially the best country in the world in terms of fighting the COVID-19. And they say things like China's response shows the importance of domestic research and public health capacity. Huge investments have left China much better prepared for COVID-19 than for the severe SARS-1. And then they say that Western nations could take a real lesson by learning about how China had dealt with it. They said a second lesson is that a robust foundation of research cannot guarantee effective control without strong top-level political commitment to use science to tackle the outbreak. And then they speak about how the government came in decisively to lock down the city, how they created tent hospitals right away, and that was possible because the Chinese government had control over it. Third, they say that achieving rapid and effective implementation of control measures requires broad community engagement. Now, they recognize that many of the control measures done by China would not be acceptable in the West, while at the same time still lauding them. They say there are tensions between freedom and security that each country has to reckon with, but China's experience shows the importance of community solidarity and what it can achieve. And then they say that in order to tackle global health emergencies, we have to cooperate with China. They mention the UN and other global bodies. To me, it seems like a giant whitewash for what we in the know was a total disaster on the part of the Chinese Communist Party, who denied the world for more than a month knowledge that a dangerous virus was loose and then allowed people to travel around the world carrying that virus. They really have blood on their hands, Steve, and to see Lancet now supporting them is shameful.
Let me ask you one question, Jack. Did they have any mention at all of the Taiwan CDC contacting the World Health Organization? Is there any discussion about now the World Health Organization saying that China misled them? Is there any mention in the Lancet at all of the misinformation campaign or all the bad decisions that the CCP made at the beginning of this pandemic?
Not a single mention, Steve. Not a single mention.
Okay, this is why this is so important. Lancet's just not any journal. It's not some blog talk radio show. It's not the War Room. It's not done in some basement of some Georgian mansion in the West End of London. It is one of the most respected journals in the world as far as medicine goes. It's principally, I think, the most respected journal in the United Kingdom. They have come off their game
Steve,
in the last couple of months to have editorials.
Take us out if you like. We're about to end here, Steve. We'll come back to this. I tell
you what, why don't we'll come back and finish this in a minute.
We'll come back and we'll talk about this. Lancet has had quite a few political opinions over the last several weeks. They talked about replacing Jair Bolsonaro in Brazil and also Donald Trump. Pay attention, people. This is a full spectrum war we're in.
War Room with Stephen K. Bannon. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
This is Jack Maxey here in the War Room on Capitol Hill. I've got Stephen K. Bannon, Miles Guo as our special guests today. We're doing a Saturday episode, July 25th, year of our Lord 2020. The plague, the flood, the people. The CCP confronts its dome. Before we went to break, we were talking about this article in The Lancet which really is a kind of running dog commentary for the CCP. And for Steve and others and our listeners, it should be shocking to see a medical journal become actual mouthpiece for a foreign government. And some of the things that they said in the article are, that we didn't get to, I'd like to read now. It says in ending, China is facing legitimate questions in many areas of its domestic and foreign policy. But when it comes to COVID-19, scapegoating China for the pandemic is not a constructive response. They says that, quotes China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi, has said that globalization needs to be more inclusive and beneficial to all, that multilateralism must be safeguarded and promoted even more firmly, and that the global governance needs to be reformed and improved where it's lacking. It sounds to me like Lancet is just revealing the talking points for the CCP. Steve, back to you.
Jack, it's pretty stunning. You know, Lancet is just not any journal, as we said. It's probably one of the most revered and respected medical journals in the United Kingdom and the world. And you're right, they've had editorials, which traditionally they haven't had, calling for the removal of Donald Trump, calling for the removal of Bolsonaro in Brazil, two populist nationalists. And now you've got them quoting the foreign minister of the CCP talking about global governance and talking about globalization and the wonders of it after they let this virus out into the world. Before we wrap up this section on the plague, I got to ask Miles, you've lived all over the world when you were in mainland China, then you lived in the United Kingdom, the United States when you left. How can an institution as prominent as Lancet in the UK take the exact party line of the CCP? What has happened to our institutions in the UK, in the United States, that they're brazen about taking the CCP's party line, regardless of the facts? They don't even want to talk about the facts. They take a pure propaganda line.
Thank you, sir. That's the same answer. Driven by profit,
by money.
Perfect. You ask this is the called One Thing. This is the magazine. Also, another is the magazine top 5. Okay, Nature. You ask all the magazine last 8 years how much money from the CCP. That's easy. Okay, even you get the money from the CCP, you cannot talk about everything. Now, very easy. You can know the truth. We are all the world now locked down, and maybe many people is die. We are now only going to talk where from the coronavirus. This is from nature and from man-made, and from the lab and from the, it's the from the animal. That's we need to talk. Why this top 5 magazine? Nobody talk where from, where this is nature and man-made. That's all above all. Fundamentally, we need to find out the reason.
Okay.
That's the CCP run the dog.
Okay, running dog. But here's what I want to say. If you talk at Lancet or any of the big institutions, they say Steve Bannon is just trafficking, although I don't say it's from a weapons lab. They say you're trafficking in conspiracy theories. They said Miles grows crazy because he hates the CCP. None of the major institutions are focused on this at all. Mike Pompeo continues to say, hey, we have incontrovertible evidence now that WHO was a wholly owned subsidiary of CCP and wasn't even looking at it. We have many whistleblowers that have come forward and saying, hey, it came out of the lab in Wuhan and it's tied to these gain of function experiments. But you have the intelligence services with leaks coming out, but they're saying, hey, we just hate the CCP so much we're trying to blame them. So what do you think the solution is? If you have Lancet, Nature, these other ones really being useful idiots for the CCP, how do you think we actually get to the truth? How is the world going to get to the truth? And do you think we can find a solution for this pandemic until we get the truth?
That's the way, sir. This is very easy. All the magazine, also WHO, we don't need to talk anything. Just CCP give it the truth. You just open the country the door, give America and UN all the iceberg go to China, find access. Open access.
You're saying full access, full access.
Yeah, full access. That's easy.
Why?
We don't need to talk this from the magazine, One Cent, and Nature. That's too bold. You don't need to talk Stephen K. Bannon crazy, Miles Grow crazy. You just ask CCP, you are solved any problem. We are solved the coronavirus problem, CCP virus problem. You give me the data as an asset. This can solve the problem only one reason. That's why is Pompeo's speech is a great leaders. Everybody saying him is get the point. We want the CCP give us asset. We can solve the problem. Assets, right? That's easy. So this is total bullshit. You don't find out who is the Ponzi's game the founder. You just bully this guy, blame this guy. You need to say who is the founder, is the coronavirus, CCP virus.
Is the CCP, you just heard what the foreign minister said in Lancet. He's just dismissing it as, hey, we're the good guys for global governance. Mike Pompeo and others have asked that we have to have access immediately. Do you believe that voluntarily the CCP will ever agree to allowing full access by an international consortium to go into the labs, talk to the technicians?
Impossible. Impossible. Okay? CCP, 2 years ago, 3 years, I'll talk about this. The only one is the priority. Take down Trump president, don't win the 2020. Use American dollar, weakens American economy. There's warfare. This is a magazine, it's a warfare one part. It's propaganda.
Information
war. Everybody is the case can know this. That's why America need to know. You only one action and find out CCP viruses, this is where from, give your asset. Then you find out the truth, can solve the corona or CCP virus problem. Another side you need to know, CCP, the force, take down American, all this is the force in the American, not in the China. That's why it's the 1 cent magazine, Nature magazine, is the only hope is the CCP, is blaming America. That's crazy, no justice.
How do you force the CCP? I've recommended give them 72 hours to allow an international consortium to come in of the top scientists throughout the entire world. WHO can be part of it, but they can't lead it because of all the questions. You have to have from India, Africa, Latin America, the United States, Europe, just the best of the best. Virologists and epidemiologists have to go in to get full access. In 72 hours, or you cut them off, you totally decouple. You cut them off from U.S. dollars and sanction their banks immediately because we need to get to the bottom of this. Do you see any other way to force their hands? You're saying they will never voluntarily do this. Is there any other way to force our way in there?
Sir, I say again, don't forget, American every week is died people is 1/11. America only one. Now easy, American president and Pompeo sent a red note to Wuhan P4, Hong Kong P3, the lab. All the professor, I give you 1 week, must be corporates give us asset. We need to know what is happening.
You would say don't go to the government. You say put a red notice, essentially what the Interpol does. You say give a red notice to the individuals at Wuhan and saying you have a week individually come forward or you're in trouble.
Why not? This is the guy, it's the expert, is studied before in America, MIT, Stanford. You must be.
You're saying they're all trained in the West.
Yeah, all trained in the West. Also, American people every die. This is the action 1. Action 2, easy, give the CCP. I give you 72 hours, maybe too long, maybe 50 hours. I give you open asset. You don't want asset, I immediately decouple. Decouple, no choice. And Hong Kong, everything decouple, all the Europe, you American allied. That's the second. 3, very important, in America, how many CCP assets here? How much money?
Hundreds of billions of dollars. Of
$100 billion?
Hundreds of billions.
$1 trillion here. Immediately out-fix it. Even you give it the
You would seize all the assets of the senior leadership of the Chinese Communist Party immediately today.
Yeah.
And you say it's over $1 trillion in assets.
You know, CCP saying we're in the your home. No, say yes, in my home. I have your asset. I need to fix it.
Would people be?
Holder.
Would the American people be stunned about the amount of holdings that senior cadre members of the CCP hold in the United States of America, as far as real estate, stocks, bonds, etc.?
If you are a real American, you must be do this. Only get BGY have the perfect from the CCP. You don't want to do this. If you are real American, you immediately.
You're saying you must seize their assets.
Yeah, that's what this you are must be don't get more regret. Give yourself again. You no more time now.
Before we're going to pivot to the flood, I want to ask one thing that we've talked about over the last couple of years. When people in the United States think of wealth, they think of the Saudi royal family, UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain, the Gulf Emirates. You're saying that's all small potatoes. The wealthiest, most powerful people in the world are the handful of families that control the Chinese Communist Party, and their wealth dwarfs all other individual wealth in the world.
2001, you get cheater American get the WTO and the Olympic Games. It's before 1.3 trillion totally GDP, and until the last year, it's 14 trillion. Everything is stolen. CCP not rich, wealthy country. It's a #1 stolen American dollar. Europe as the stolen, not a big university. That's why America need to know. You don't find out the truth. You day by day more people die. Also, you lose the money. You have new coronavirus coming here. I don't think this is the only now, COVID-19 CCP virus. I think they have a solution. Give you more the new virus. They want to take down Trump president, take down American economy, take down kill American people. You only one way. Immediately action give me asset. Now the truth, what is happen? This is fundamental the reason.
Your point is that, hey, they've had a good run now. Look how they brought America to its knees. It's ruined the economy. It's messed up American culture. Now kids are not even going back to school. We're at each other's throats. From their perspective, that's a success. Be prepared to have others, if they view this as a success, unless you start playing hardball. Principle of that would be take their assets. Okay, we have limited time. I got to get to other topics. You were also the first guy, so many times you've told me things to think about. You also, over a month ago, said, hey, pay attention to this flood at the Three Gorges Dam. What's happening in the Himalayas, these rains are early, and they're coming in a level of power that has not been seen before. And also the dam system was put together by the CCP. It was all crap construction. Money was all stolen. And the fact that I didn't even realize they don't really care about the people. You're not going to see the PLA down there. You're not going to see flood control.
Sir, hold on, sir. The Three Gorges Dam, they built this one, never think the defense, the flood. They are only one reason make it a power station. CCP can get money. This can get money. They never think that the real seriously can defense the flood. No. That's why same thing. They think, even you die, it's broken Three Gorges Dam, that's nature. I cannot touch. But normally time, you need to appreciate me. I hope you defend the flood. That's a totally bullshit.
Hang on.
Flooding,
You're
right?
saying when they built Three Gorges, the only thing they cared about was the hydroelectric power and the money they can make out of that. Whether the flood control, etc., hey, if it happened, that's a natural problem.
Yeah. So before the flood, you see, the flood, because no flood, because I abandoned for you. But this fundamental reason is to build this one for power station, earn the money. Even though flood coming,
guys, 1 minute.
That's the CCP lie.
Jack, I want to pitch it back to you, and we come back. I want to get more into the details of the flood and some of the videos you have to show the audience, because we've been talking about this for weeks. It's only getting worse for the Chinese people, and eventually it's going to impact the United States of America. Back to you, Jack.
Absolutely, people. This flood in the Yangtze is almost as important as the pandemic in terms of what it could do to our supply chains. 80% of the chemicals and APIs for pharmaceuticals built along that floodplain. Honda Motors, for example, makes 1.5 million cars a year in Wuhan. This is serious, people. We will be back. As always, we are praying for the old 100 names, that they overcome the difficulties as they always have throughout history. China, we love you. Back in a minute.
War Room with Stephen K. Bannon. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
It's Jack Maxey in the War Room. We've got Stephen K. Bannon, Miles Guo on standby. This is another one of our Saturday episodes where we dig deep into China. This one's called The Plague, the Flood, the People. And I'm going to play a video here for you in a moment, because one of the things that's been coming out of China is this idea that there's no problem, right? You can go and do a Google search on the Yangtze flood, Wuhan flood, etc. Look for yourself. There's virtually a news blackout on this. And one of the things that they've been saying is 10 days ago, they said there were 140 missing or dead because of the floods. Yesterday, they announced that it's gone up to 150. Now, if we could roll this video, Barge on the Bridge, I think it'll give people a visual idea of the devastation that is occurring there. Tragic beyond belief, not for the squeamish, but let's roll Barge on the Bridge. And here you see it is hitting the base. You see all those people on the right-hand side. I don't see anybody coming to save them. And more importantly, you're not seeing this in the Chinese media. There is a blackout on anything bad that is occurring. One of the things that you're seeing in the WeChat rooms is a lot of complaints lately about the fact that the Chinese media has sort of treated this like it's some sort of just summertime story and there's nothing bad. It's just good PLA members fixing dikes and things like that. But as you can see from this video, Chinese people are suffering and dying right now, and they are not even revealing this information to their people. One thing I would love to we're going to talk to Miles about here in a minute, are these releases of water that are coming out from the Three Gorges Dam, which are purported to be coming out at nighttime with no warning for the people downstream. So, guys, back to you, Steve and Miles. This is really a horrific scene that we're watching.
Make sure that you go to the site and see this. It's almost beyond description. It's so rudimentary and primitive. You've got a barge with all these people on it, and it's literally out of control because the power of the river gets cut into by a bridge, and it looks like all the people drown. One of the reasons we wanted to have this up there is a couple reasons. Number one, the Chinese Communist Party saying, oh, it's 140 people have died total. It's like the 3,000 that died in Wuhan. Just they put these lies out, and the Western media won't cover this story at all. It's just now being picked up by the New York Times and the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal. The other thing is about how people in China are now starting to get through the firewall and start to do it. Remember, what did we talk about at the beginning of the pandemic? The great hero of Wuhan, that doctor that in the WeChat thing was telling the truth, saying, hey, there's a community spread and human-to-human transmission in Wuhan that's going on. Remember, the CCP held him up on charges, put him in jail. It was only after a public outcry. You're seeing the exact same thing now in WeChat, which, by the way, is monitored closely by the Chinese Communist Party. That's how they got the doctor, but that's what people need to do. I think, Miles, one of the great powers of G News and GTV is that if you want to see these clips, there's clips up there nonstop that people can see what's going on in Wuhan and now on the Yangtze River Valley with this horrific flood. Back to Jack's point, you had mentioned, you've shown us, and Jack, I want to try to get the production team to get the elevation thing up when we can, but you showed me an elevation that really comes from the Himalayas all the way down to Three Gorges. What can the audience expect? You mentioned the other day, the bad flooding hasn't even gotten here. The bad flooding is going to be from mid-July to about the 21st of August. What should people anticipate of what's going to happen at Three Gorges Dam in the Yangtze River over the next month?
Sir, we watched the video. You think this is disaster, right? This real there is even worse. Okay, so you look at telling you here Himalaya.
Yep.
To here is the Wuhan, 6,000 meters, 60 million square foot high. Three Gorges down here. Here to here is the 13,000 Gorges dam. Only they want to build power station. And here to here, the far is 3,400 km, right?
Yes.
Not miles, km. This area have 3 nuclear power stations.
3 nuclear power stations.
Nuclear station. Also here is the PLA, is called Missile Defense. It's the 5 army base.
Do you think the nuclear reactors, the nuclear power stations, could be in jeopardy?
Huge. This is broken as the flood even worse. Really happen. Kill Chinese not is the water. kill Chinese and kill the Asian people, Korea, and North Korea, and Japan, is a form of the nuclear violation.
You're saying a Chernobyl type incident.
Yeah, definitely. Another side, sir, is very important. Himalaya come here, the water. All the Asia, 80%, 70% of clean water from here.
Yes.
They are new clean. Is the foundation? Is it even happen? Pollution all the Asia.
You're saying the pollution is going to go all over Asia.
Oh, this is a disaster. This one, another side, sir, you need to know. You look at the people die, you look at this, They cover any truth. That's why America helped the CCP build a firewall. You one day must be get a trial. God and you hand. American big tycoon technology company, you are the hand, all the hand is the blood.
You're saying that there's blood on the hands of the technology companies that keep the firewall.
Only you and me, GTV, G News, we can, and the war room can talk the word, provide. It is directly new video, new truth. Why American cannot know the truth? Why American cannot get all the data? Because build a firewall and minority control by Wall Street money. That's the criminal. So, sir, I always say again, all the American, the Corona CCP virus, and China, the Florida disaster, is by Wall Street American tycoon company behind the control. This is the reason in America, in here, not in China.
We've created the Frankenstein monster. One last thing I want to get to before we leave the flood and talk about the new federal state is I notice I haven't seen, when I see these videos, it's very primitive how the people are trying to either push up or support the levees, or how they're escaping on these barges. I don't see a lot of people from the People's Liberation Army. Has the CCP deployed troops? Have they deployed stability forces? Have they deployed resources and assets to these cities to help the citizens as these massive floods are coming?
Sir, maybe all the American people, Americans are really kind of people. Here have religion. CCP no religion. They think a die is good. How can see 多难熊猫怎么说了那个多难熊they think disaster burn has priority. This is CCP offer disaster burn has priority. That's their philosophy. You think the die people 100 million?
You're saying that they have less mouths to feed. So if they lose 100 million people, they lose 100 million people.
Lose 100. No, they look at 100 million. The country is more stronger, and food, don't more worry too much food. They don't care. Day one, they build 3 gardens dam, another 13,000 dam just for the get power station, energy. They never think you are for the die. They don't care. Even die can make my regime more bigger. That's why they are cover all the data, cover all the truth by you are created the evil, firewall system. That's totally the truth. But Americans, you are very kind religion. You never believe that the evil can do this, but this is real. That's true.
Well, I got to tell you, some of the videos you're seeing are absolutely heart-rending. So we're going to stay on this in the coming days and weeks ahead. Jack, I'd like to put up now, I know we got a few minutes in this segment and a few minutes in the next segment. I'd like to put up the videos now of the new federal state, these kind of spontaneous protests that are happening, particularly about the Houston consulate. Miles, you're one of the co-founders of the new federal state. Did you know that these protests were going to take place, or are they just spontaneous, or what's happening? Because we're getting great videos now from throughout the country of the people out in the streets waving the flag, saying the CCP's got to go, really protesting the CCP. It started in Washington, D.C. at the embassy. It started at Washington, D.C. at the White House, and now it's spread throughout the country. What's happening here?
Yes, sir. First of all, I want to say in the Houston, all the we are friends, brother, sister is really proud of they go to there. A few hours ago, I never know they go there. I never know. You and me, we built a new federal state. We are united all in the world, real good Chinese, together. They are, it's a fight back to CCP, take down CCP. They want the West world, American West world, no more the truth about the CCP, the evil, this is the criminal group. Then this is why they go to Houston. All the people I think is American citizens. They know we are not the CCP. CCP is the evil. They like America's decision, President Trump and Pompeo take down this the consulate. The consulate in America, this is not big. Big one, New York.
Hey guys, we're coming up on a break here.
Why don't you take us out, Jack? We're going to come back here and talk about the difference in the Houston consulate and the New York, which Miles says the New York's 10 times worse.
Hey, listen, what I want to tell you guys, it is just an inspiration for me because I've been with some of these protesters on the street. They're putting themselves at risk, their families back in China, but they're not giving up. And I don't want you to give up either because freedom is worth it.
War Room with Stephen K. Bannon. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
This is Jack Maxey sitting in the War Room on Capitol Hill, episode 300. This is the last segment today, guys. We could talk about this all day long. Steve, there's some interesting news that just came out in the Global Times last night. Apparently, they gave permission, in quotation marks, to close an HSBC branch, a very large branch, looks like a office building in Shenzhen. And they give as the rationale, I found very interesting, they said the announcement was dated July 17th, but published on Friday, came as more evidence emerged about how the lender was involved in a scheme devised by the U.S. to fabricate evidence and maliciously frame Huawei Chief Financial Officer Meng Wanzhou. It says that the bank, which generates almost 80% of its profits, has drawn a lot of heat and public anger in China due to its role in Meng's illegal arrest. So it looks to me like they have may end up cutting their financial rope on their own.
I just got to, since it's news, I got to talk to Miles about this. I'm going to come back to you in a second about the protests of the new federal state. Huawei, just to make it clear to the American people, there's been a lot of controversy, and the CCP is trying to spin it. Huawei is inextricably linked with the PLA as their technology arm, correct?
Yeah, it's PLA. Huawei is PLA. This is for sure, sir. Yeah, no doubt.
So in all you've said from day one, if you're a significant tech company in China, right, you basically got that tech by stealing it from the United States or forcing it from the United States, but that you're somehow either part of the CCP, PLA, state security, somehow you're involved with the Chinese government. There are no independent actors on the technology side in China.
Zero chance. Impossible. CCP is control China everything, definitely including technology. Even in America, before you see the Houston, it's that this consulate is the
spy center.
Spy center. This is too small to do. I love the story about this, New York consulate.
You think New York is worse?
I have a lot. It's the 35 times bigger than Houston, the size, right? These people bigger than 50 times in the Houston. It's I hearing is before the president, Hu Jintao, also deputy president, we are together. You see, we are in America, have two big weapons. One is the New York consulate. Second is the Los Angeles consulate. It's called the two.
You're saying L.A. and New York.
LA and New York. So one time I have the, very big need, have big, I defense Beijing's Deputy Mayor. This is a big case, this. I want to, you hope I find out some of the information because I get corruption. He say, what do you want? I say, American consulate help. I say, take the phone, one phone call. They say, 18 hours, everything started to hear. This is the New York. This is the big basement is a spy. I don't know why American never touched this area. Falashan, this is all the Chinese. Chinatown, Falashan, and the Queens area.
All the
Chinatown. There is also spy the base. CCP want full control there. You go to Chinatown, New York, and Chinatown is Falashan. You same go back to Stone Time. Totally different American world. It's 30 years here, never go to Manhattan, just cross the street. They are always use China's phone number. They don't use American phone number. Also, they are eat food, clothes, everything from China. Every China leader come here, right fly, welcome leader come here. That's the
total CCP
in the your country, and that is build one country. They do what? They never do profit give you. They never think, contribution give you. They work at the CCP.
CCP.
American need to clean your soft room. In your room, too much poison is a schedule. Schedules. You need to clean your room first and take down the firewall and decap. Only one this action quickly can solve American any problem. That's why you are stunning. It's the takedown. It's the Houston conflict. That's a so good job. I hope quickly action more New York, Los Angeles, Flushing, Chinatown, and DC. Why? They not is a representative country. They form the criminal group. They kill America in your home. Do you see any country come your country kill you every day 10,000, 1,000 people? Never. This is why Americans don't think about that's a country relationship. No, you are the criminal group here. You need to clean your home now.
I just want to reiterate, Miles is saying you got to decouple the economy immediately, and on technology you have to do it. You got to bring down the firewall, and you'll see an alternative to the CCP. Jack, you saw it up close and personal. That's the whole powerful thing I think about the new federal state, why I'm so proud to be associated with this new not-for-profit organization is trying to offer an alternative to the CCP. Jack, you saw it in 95-degree heat, in 90% humidity when they did their first protest outside the Chinese embassy and then outside the White House. Can you tell folks what the folks associated with the new federal state are like?
Well, you know what? It's just a wonderful group of people. I was very moved. They would tell you stories for obvious reasons. They didn't want to tell all the stories on camera. Many of them still have families back in China that they recognize are in danger, perhaps even because of some of the activities that these brave American citizens and Chinese immigrants are doing here by protesting the CCP. Steve, it was very humbling, and particularly what really humbled me was the great thanks that many of them came up and thanked me personally and wanted to send you thanks and said that we mean so much to the people inside China. And for me, that really moved me, touched my heart, because every day I find inspiration by the Chinese people and the Hong Kong protesters. To me, they are just a great exercise in why freedom and liberty are so important. So that, to me, I can't, it was very important to me. I can't say much more about it.
Hey, I want Vish and the crew to tee up the Mike Pompeo, the last clip, or the clip we had where he actually said, God bless the Chinese people, God bless the American people. We'll play in a second. I just want to ask Miles, I know we only got a couple of minutes left. I thought that was an incredibly moving end to his speech yesterday, given how historic that speech is and how people are going to talk about it. At the end of the speech, he said, Steve. God bless the Chinese people, God bless the American people, and God bless America. Can we play it? Fish, can we go and play that clip?
It was founded on the premise that all human beings possess certain rights that are unalienable, and it's our government's job to secure those rights. It is a simple and powerful truth. It's made us a beacon of freedom for people all around the world, including people inside of China. Indeed, Richard Nixon was right when he wrote in 1967 that the world cannot be safe until China changes. Now it's up to us to heed his words. Today, the danger is clear, and today the awakening is happening. Today, the free world must respond. We can never go back to the past. May God bless each of you. May God bless the Chinese people. And may God bless the people of the United States of America. Thank you all.